Welcome to episode 16 of Outside Smoke. Clark Burkle here with Kyle Sockwell.
What's up?
Kyle, we've got an interesting episode today. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing for the past few episodes.
Yeah.
And, today we're really going to look at a wrap-up of the summer season, kind of all the meets that we've had, and we're going to check out our top 5 favorite races. And there's no, specific criteria here. It's really just us looking through, maybe a good reaction.
Yeah. So we have 2 honorable mentions as well, and then a top 5 with really just a wide variety of stuff that took place. Absolutely. A lot of really cool stuff, honestly. So it should be fun.
Yeah, and we have a wide variety of races as well. Anything from age group races all the way up to some races from the Marin Ostrom this summer. Chad Leclos at the Energy for Swim.
Hands-on in that 200 breast.
Yep, and even a 13-year-old going 2 minutes in the 200-meter freestyle, which is just remarkable, the fastest 13-year-old ever. So let's hop into it. Kyle, what is our first race we're going to look at?
So our first race, I was actually at this meet. It was in Santa Clara, California, at Santa Clara Swim Club. It was the women's 200 breast, and I won't give anything away, but at the end, it was kind of a special moment. I actually had their coach come up to me after we posted it on social media and talk to me about how excited they were that they saw it online and all this stuff. But so this is the women's 200 breast A final from the Santa Clara Futures meet. So we won't.
Beautiful Santa Clara pool.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be out there, to say the least.
Yeah.
But so I'm not going to give away who's going to win the race, but I will say it kind of starts to happen pretty early. So this is the A final. And for those of you that don't know, Futures is kind of an in-between meet between sectionals and junior nationals. It's kind of that and U.S. Open. It's kind of a, step towards being on the national stage.
Yeah, it's a nice new meet that USA Swimming instituted just because, the number of swimmers has been growing so rapidly, and swimmers are always trying to achieve those cuts to, like you said, juniors and seniors. It just gives them another opportunity to compete against the best in the nation at an 18 and under level, and especially at a pool like Santa Clara where there's been so many historic swims.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Phelps and Kalish, and
Peter Vanderkay broke the 400-meter freestyle American record there at the Santa Clara Grand Prix.
Yeah, back when it was called the Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest swims I've ever seen there.
Yeah, so the race is starting to shape up here a little bit. Looks like it's down there between lanes 5, 6, and 7. So this is actually a 9-lane pool. Another point in the meet, we had 2 people in the 50 freestyle win from lane 9. So it's not typical that you see the outside smoke just like you're watching today.
Yep.
So the race is, we've got lanes 1 and 2 out there as well, but the second 100 is when the magic really starts to happen.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see Tegan start to really pour it on here. She is down there in the green cap in lane 7. Look at that stroke rate for the third
really
50.
Picked it up.
So it was a pretty tight race at the 100. And then, at the 150, you'll see the race is only going to be between 2 people. It's lane 5 and lane 7. So Tegan down there in lane 7. And then the last 50 is when the magic really starts to happen. I was watching this
double
live.
The rate there.
And wait until the last 50. She starts to almost triple it. She just runs away with it. So 156.2 there. And then just turning on the boosters right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's got a body length lead on the field. Just starting to tear it up. And just gone. Just absolutely
you
gone.
gotta ask yourself at this point, did the swimmer in lane 5 even see her? I don't know if she could.
She could think that she blew her away.
Yeah.
But so really the highlight of the race here at the end, you'll see she comes in the wall. Great time, 2:35.54.
Wow.
And she can't believe it.
You gotta love those reactions.
Beyond excited. And this is really the part that we posted on social media just because it was a really special moment for her, and I'm sure her team as well.
She's pumped.
Her coach was elated to see it online, and I'm sure she was pretty excited as well. Good sportsmanship there at the end too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that in the with the younger swimmers. It keeps them excited, keeps them going.
No, it really does. I'm sure you remember races where you were excited, maybe one in particular.
Too excited.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was justified.
Yeah.
I never really had a race where I full on just threw down.
Just got pumped up.
Yeah, I had some where I did a little something, but I never had one where I did like a double-handed, like
a smack,
or got up on the lane rope or anything like that.
Double-handed smack.
Yeah. Who else has done that? Phelps has done that.
Yeah, he did the double-handed smack in Rome. Yeah, 2009.
And then the iconic suit pull and slap, which probably you would think would hurt, but he probably didn't feel anything at that point.
So much adrenaline.
But our second honorable mention was from the Energy for Swim in Rome. You were out there. You want to talk a little bit about that meet?
Yeah, sure. So it was, really a unique meet. I think the first of its kind, and it was sponsored by the Energy Standard Group. And the Energy Standard Group has actually fielded a professional team of kind of world all-stars, I'd say, really European all-stars, and then also some South Africans as well. And they put up some money, a challenge really, to see which of these 4 teams, Energy Standard, Australia, USA, and not South Africa.
Australia?
Australia, USA, Energy
Italy.
Standard, and Italy. Yeah. What am I saying? It was in Italy. It was in Rome. And whoever won the outright team competition got to donate the prize money, to a charity of their choice. And at the same time, a lot of the athletes were trying to get some good racing in. So we had Chad Leclos in the tuner fly, and he was going against Chase Kalish. Yeah. And Chad had been kind of racing since Worlds, where he had won the tuner fly, and so he was pretty tired. And Chase is just, Energizer Bunny, doesn't get tired.
Always going after it. So we'll take a look at that right here. This is a little bit of a highlight.
And his dad did the commentary, so it was very cool.
So Kalish in the middle, and then you'll see Leclos obviously have a pretty good start and then get after it. But, I mean, a lot of big swims here for, the atmosphere around the meet. So they're Kalish in second, actually. Carini up there in lane number 1 going after it.
You could tell Chad was kind of just playing around, and he didn't really know what to do. And Chase,
156.72. Yeah.
Chase just
race.
Had it in him, and he was ready to go there. And it was really cool because Chad's dad Graham did commentary. Yeah. And he couldn't control himself. He was screaming, "Go boy, go boy!" And that was kind of cool to see because he. He's been a pretty outspoken media character around Chad Swim, so it was fun to have him on the commentary there.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty cool to commentate on your son's race.
Yeah,
especially at that kind of stage.
So it was the first time he'd ever done it.
Well, we'll never forget that for sure.
Exactly.
But so if we're gonna get into our top 5 now, we're gonna move into the boys 400 freestyle from the YMCA meet.
Yep.
356.
356 from a swimmer, Ross Dant.
Yeah.
Swims for the Hickory YMCA. Ross is, I talked to his coach for a while, and he's just an animal in training, they said. He really wants to go to NC State, so he wants to join the Wolf Pack, and he's just kind of figuring out how good he really is. His coach said that, sky's the limit, and he negative split, even split this race, so he's still kind of figuring out how to go faster, and it was probably one of the best races of the YMCA championships. But Ross is there in the green suit.
So the 4 and free,
and then we also had Hank Seaford here, who's going to the University of Kentucky. He's over there in lane 3.
Great freestyler, great 200 and 500 freestyler. We talked to him before this meet. He was pretty excited as well.
And Ross has that red cap on there in the middle, and you can tell that by the way he swims, he's looking so much, right?
Yeah.
And he's a racer, and so I think kind of what hurt him. I had asked him about it this after the race was did you intend to negative split? Did you intend to even split? Did you try to go out faster than what you went out in? And he's like, no, that's just how I always race. So maybe he's got a lot of growing to do. He's only a sophomore in high school, so it's going to be really cool to see this young fella develop over the next few years.
356 as a sophomore. And just watch his stroke. It's the stroke when he doesn't breathe, it just looks so powerful.
He holds a lot of water up front. Kicks well. And he's still working on his turns. He kind of comes up, splits his hands. It was a pretty interesting race too because Hank was out of the race for quite a while, and then on the second to last 50 he split a 28 and caught all the way back up to Ross. And then Ross just kind of put him away the last 50 there, but you can definitely tell. You see him looking every stroke like he's swimming back to his competition. So I was really thinking to myself, this is a guy that could go in the low 350s next summer, and then maybe sub 350 going into college, which would put him as one of the best recruits in the country in the middle distance freestyle. His best event is the 800 and mile, which he negative split both of those at the World Trials.
This is a little too short for him.
Yeah. So, and his coach was saying that he's we typically rest him for just a couple days, And he's like, we're extending his taper to 10 days. It's a really long one, he said. And I was just like, are you joking me? Because he wanted to see if he had some more speed. So you can see Ross is trying to take off here, but he does better when he's not looking over there at Hank's side because he doesn't swim back to him.
Yeah.
But again,
definitely can work on those turns, though.
Yeah, he can definitely do that. And a little bit just about the meet here. We're at the Greensboro Aquatic Center, which is also the home of the ACC Hall of Fame. It's one of the better new pools in the country, tons of seating space. The YMCA's used it repeatedly for their nationals. A lot of space for athletes, 2 other pools to warm up in addition to this. And, just creates a great atmosphere because the stands are packed pretty close. They typically get full and the athletes line the side. And the YMCA meet's really like nothing I'd ever seen before. I mean, it's almost like a gigantic summer club championship as far as the spirit and the cheering goes, which is really cool to see. I think something that the sport of swimming could benefit from greatly. Yeah,
when we talked to Hank Pryor, that was one of the things he mentioned was, it doesn't feel like your typical club meet. It feels more like there's more camaraderie.
Yep.
And there's more of an effort emphasizing, we want to win this meet, not just I want to get out there and go a good time. We actually talked to Kavich yesterday about that same thing.
See, here goes Hank. Real quick, watch him. He's over there in the black cap. He's going to try to go for it here, and then he just burned.
Yeah, and we kind of saw this on the women's 200 breast from Futures. There's a lot of gear changing, especially at this, age, which is actually really exciting because you never know what's going to happen. And, I mean, he really poured it on there.
So he caught all the way back up. It's 28 and change.
28.9.
And then he just was burning here. You could see it. He put a little bit too much in there, and Ross just had a lot left. And Ross
and there's that just he's holding so much water.
It's good 6
on that left arm.
And again, he's faster when he's not looking at Hank.
Yeah, swimming his own race.
Yeah.
So then under the flags,
Hank really died here.
I mean, you'll see the clock here. I mean, that's a quick time for a sophomore.
Yeah. And he was, he was pretty happy. I think he thought he could do a little bit better, but again, great swim and, fun to see how all the YMCA fans and other athletes got behind him. I mean, the place was electric.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's excited, obviously.
There he is, Ross Dant.
356.
Champion.
Yeah. I mean, great swim, 356.82. I mean, a good swim for Hank as well, 358.9.
Yeah, it was like just off his best.
Yeah, 2 guys under 4. Hank, a great 500 swimmer, like we talked about.
Yeah, low
heading to Kentucky. Yeah, I think he's like a 422, and then he's a 136 or 137 in the 2 free.
That'd be a good pickup for the Wildcats.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's something that really any college team would try to have on board.
Yep.
So coming into number 4, this is at the Triangle Aquatic Center in Cary, North Carolina. The TAC Titan, home of the TAC Titans. Relatively new, kind of on the rise program. They've been throwing down. They really have been, especially their younger crew. And so we'll watch the girls' 200 medley relay here.
Yeah. And
this is a NAG record as well.
I was going to say, a special thing about this was a national age group record. It was a tight team race between the Titans and Mecklenburg Aquatic Club. Titans had a lot of home pride. This is another new pool, Kyle. You've been there multiple times. It's really interesting to see this in the state of North Carolina. They're building a lot of these larger natatoriums, and it's great for the sport because it allows them to host more championship-level meets, potentially national-level championship meets like Greensboro's doing. And, speak a little bit to the quality of the pool. It looks amazing.
Yes, it was actually built by Michael Curran. He's a local guy who has a couple daughters that swim. And, I mean, the facility is incredible. It started off as what you see here, but it's going to be changing over the next little bit as well. I know he's got some plans to just turn it into an absolute beast of an aquatic center, but I've swam there plenty of times. I actually worked out there for a couple summers, and I mean, the pool is great. The surrounding facility is awesome, and the location is incredible as well. But I mean, if you don't believe me for saying the pool's awesome, look what's happening right now.
Opened up a lead here.
This is 100 meters into the race. 100 meters, 2 lengths of the pool, and just dominating. And so I've been out there for a couple of these meets, and they just, I mean, the Titans pour it on, especially in the younger age group.
And it's almost hard for them to keep them in the frame of the camera because, trying to show everybody in the race, but it's the Attack Titans 10 and under women's relay here is significantly far ahead of everybody.
Just a complete show of dominance here. And they're going in to the final leg of this NAG record relay. And, I mean, just blowing everybody away. Yeah, so this pulls in Cary, North Carolina, home of the team you're following right now. We've zoomed in on them. You see the coaches on the side, beyond excited. They know what they're close to.
It's cool to see a 10 and under swimming freestyle like that, a little bit of a straight arm recovery.
Yeah. Watching some of the NC State people, I guess.
Yeah.
And there it is. Boom. New NAG record, 10 and under. Other teams now coming into frame. I mean, just an incredible relay.
And what was the final time there?
For what?
For that.
For the relay. I think it was like a 2. Pull up the exact time. I don't want to get it wrong.
Looking at some of these older NAG records, I just wanted to see how badly that they broke that record, but I'm sure it was by quite a bit.
No, it definitely was. I'm pulling it up right now. It's 2:18.71. So quick.
So they got that. They got it by over a half second there.
Yeah, and so the splits on that, backstroke was by Willis, 34.93. Breaststroke by Zattel, who is an absolute stud, 39.28. Under 40 seconds at 10 years old.
Yeah,
Curtin on the butterfly was at 33.99, and the freestyle straight arm recovery was Wheelahan at 30.5.
Wow,
almost under 30.
That's impressive for a
10-year-old. I don't even know when I broke 30 short course.
I don't want to think about it.
The sport's just getting fast, to say the very least.
So what do we have next here, Kyle?
So moving on to number 4, we've got a well-known name in the swimming community now. Skirball, is that how you pronounce it?
Zoe Skirball, yeah.
Zoe Skirball, great breaststroker.
Stud.
I mean, really good.
Yeah, she's rewritten the sprint breaststroke NAG records in the 11 and 12 age group. At this meet, we're actually going to show the final swim, but at this meet in the prelim, she went a 32.96 long course 50-meter breast. It was the ISCA Senior Championship Cup.
Yeah.
Here we're going to watch the final. She was just a touch slower. And it's in beautiful St. Petersburg, outdoor pool here, really fun for these athletes. ISCA is a newer organization that hosts a couple of different championship level events, and it really kind of has almost like an age group championship feel. In the spring, they have a 14 and under championship event. This one is 18 and under, and Zoe is very young, kind of toward the bottom of that range, and still finds a way to nearly win this race.
Yeah, and so she would have gone her prelim time, she would have won, but
yeah, by a half second.
But I mean, the race here is pretty cool as well. It's a quick one length of the pool, and I mean, you'll see her there just scooting right across the water.
She's there in lane 5.
Yeah, and I think she just gets touched out. This is a really, really close race. But I mean, look at the backdrop.
There you go.
Buildings across the skyline. But yeah, there we go.
She has the higher stroke there, hands out of the water. She just gets touched out. Nice little lunge here at the end. Boom. And she was 33.62, so just a little bit off her time from the morning, but still her morning swim, a national age group record, and really cool to see some of those outdoor championship meets. I know the kids love those.
Yeah. I mean, I love outdoor meets. I love outdoor swimming.
It's very fun.
I mean, I swam at ASU, so I got to do some of that, and so did you.
Yep.
It's just a different kind of environment, a different kind of mindset when you're outside, just soaking in some vitamin D.
Yep. It's way more fun.
Yeah, but moving on here, we've got another young girl who is arguably one of the most notable up-and-coming swimmers in the country, if not the world right now.
Yep.
It's Claire Tuggle.
Yep.
She's been all over.
She wins everything.
You name it. Any website, she's been on it.
She wins everything.
She's been just crushing national age group records. Just aged up into the 13-14 age group. Because short course, she was 11-12, which was where she was rewriting all of these records. She took down the 200 free.
But even now, I mean, she's just off some of these NAG records. I mean, most of the NAG records in the 13-14 age group are held by like Missy Franklin and people that went on to swim in the Olympic Games and win multiple medals. So she's in good company. Yeah,
and so she just missed Missy's 11-12 long course 100 or short course 100 freestyle, which was like a 50-point something. Wow. And so, I mean, typically you see people age up into the 13-14s, especially in this age group, and they just fall off, just completely fall out because it's a really big jump. I mean, she is at the level where she jumped right up into this, and you'll watch in this race, is not afraid of any of these older girls.
She went for it. So she's 13. This is the 200-meter freestyle finals from the NCSA Junior Nationals this past summer. She's in lane 3. Some other competitors to watch out in lane 1, Brooke 40, who's 18 and is headed to Stanford University. Claire at 13 posted the fastest ever 13-year-old 200-meter freestyle time here. But, I mean, it's pretty amazing to see her racing against people that are 5+ years and her elder, and that's a good way to practice for kind of how the sport will be once you get into the open category and you have to race at trials or whatever against really anybody of any age.
Yeah, and the thing that really stuck out to me was just look what's happening right now. It's not typical you see a fresh 13-year-old just coming out of the 11-12 age group take a race out like this.
Yeah, great stroke,
just
too.
Not afraid whatsoever of anyone in the race, of anything.
Got nice high elbow, good 6-speed kick.
Yeah.
She's racing Brooke 40 over there. Brooke 40, one of the top recruits this year. I mean, if not the top recruit.
Yeah.
Sub 440, 400-meter IMer. She's going to Stanford.
She was top 4 in the 400 IM at trials, right?
Yep. And Claire flips here. She was out in, I've got it up right here, 58.63. She was basically 28, 30, 31, 30. So she came home that last 50 super fast. Yeah. And this is at IUPUI Natatorium. They're in Indianapolis. They hold a lot of major meets here. They had World Championship trials here. They just redid the lighting and the pool, so it looks fantastic. And, you know, kind of a great venue for Claire to do a swim like this.
Yeah, it's at the NCSA Summer Championships. And we saw a lot of fast swims coming out of this meet. I mean, we're showing one right now, but there were plenty of others. Jack Dolan was up there, huge name, and also the up-and-coming community. He's a 16-year-old kid.
One of the male stars in the sport.
Oh, I mean, he's 19.6 in the 50, 43 in the 100.
That's crazy.
But, I mean, right now we're going to focus on the battle between Brooke 40 and Claire Tuggle, and it's going to go to the younger of the two.
Yeah.
And just a
Claire just really took off here at the end.
Put her head down.
Yep. Got on the wall. And really tight kind of across the board for third there, actually. Who finished in third? Let's see. Genevieve Pfeiffer, 203.11, and then, you know, 203.2, 203.2, 203.3, 203.6. So close heat. Fun to watch.
I mean, the thing that, like, I think I already mentioned this, but the thing that really stuck out to me was just how veteran she looked in that race. Yeah. I mean, even at the end.
Very mature swim.
At 13 years old, take a race out and then get under the flags on the last 50 and put your head down and just slap that wall. Impressive.
Yeah.
And that's why she's the fastest 13-year-old swimmer ever. So, and I mean, she's not going to be slowing down, to say the least.
We'll see. I think the national age group record is 158 low from Sippy Woodhead, so we'll see what she can do about that.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Yeah, very old.
So it'd be cool to see her take that down. But our number one race came from the Mare Nostrum series. Also the world champion in this event, Anton Chupkov.
Yep.
And so one thing to note is he rocks a chain when he swims.
He's very religious. He keeps his cross on at all times, and he's swimming the event kind of in the typical European fashion, which is going out pretty controlled and then coming home really fast. But he's just coming home faster than anybody else.
Goodness. He was home at World Championships in like a 31.8. And we've talked about this a few times just around the office. His last turn, he didn't even streamline. And he doesn't streamline. He peeked around. He went like this.
He doesn't streamline, which is sort of a Russian thing to do. The guy that originally made it famous was a guy named Denis Pankratov. He used to kind of scowl as he streamlined because he said it was faster. But it's not that popular of a thing to do. But obviously you can still go fast doing it. Anton there in the middle in the purple suit. And you'll see he's not always out the fastest. He'll probably be pretty close to the front of the pack here because it's Mare Nostrum. But, you know, at the end of the season, the Japanese were out significantly faster. And actually he's got, I think it's Ippei Watanabe right there.
Yeah, it is.
From Japan, who is the world record holder in 206.6. And they're the only two people ever under 207.
The thing to notice right now is his stroke rate. He holds a ridiculous line on the first, 50 to 100 of the race, which you have to think plays into his favor in the last 50.
Yeah.
Really the only other person that I would put up there with him in terms of holding that line on the first 50 would be Kevin Cordes.
Yeah.
I don't think, honestly,
Look at how wide he pulls.
Anyone can hold a line like Cordes can.
His hips come up high when he kicks. His butt's above the surface of the water, meaning he has very little resistance.
Yeah.
He's not dragging those hips at all. And like you said, he's keeping a really good line, gets the head down, and let's see, 102.4, which is about the same as what he was out in at World.
Yeah, pretty casual, making sure not to stress himself. But, I mean, if you're out in a 102.4 the way he is, you know it's going to be a dangerous swim.
Yeah, and I mean, to go 207 off that's really remarkable.
Yeah, and you'll still see here, I mean, he's really not – the rate isn't that high yet. It's pretty smooth, and it's honestly eerily similar to what we saw in the very first race we played from Teagan Preston on this last 50. I mean, and Ipe Watanabe actually does something similar on the last 50, just not to the extent that Chipkov does it here.
Wow, and let's see. So he actually stayed even with world record pace there. Let's count his strokes. 1.
And so now you see there's really no glide. His hands are breaking almost immediately upon full extension, and he's just letting it rip.
7, 8.
Really similar to what we saw.
Count strokes here.
So he's going to go 207 and change here. Incredible time for in-season. Announcers getting excited.
21 strokes there, 207.46. That's his best time. I think it was like right on what he'd gone at the Olympic Games to get, I think, the silver medal.
Yeah, and then he was 206. What was he at?
206.96.
At Worlds?
Yeah.
Was he the only one under, or was there two?
He was it. And then
yeah, because he kind of dusted everybody, didn't he?
Pretty close in the 7 mid-range, I think.
Yeah.
Japanese 2-3 in that event. But, I mean, he's it's great for Russian breaststroke, men's breaststroke. They haven't had really anybody on since Roman Sludnov was the first man ever to break a minute in the 100-meter breast at 59.9.
Yeah. Who was second? Was it Hansen?
I don't know if it was Hansen. I think it was another random European person. I've got to look it up. That's an older fact.
Yeah, we don't want to just get them wrong.
I think it was year 2000.
You guys can look it up as well.
Yeah. But I mean, those are some of the better races we saw this summer.
Yeah, and there's so many more.
Yeah.
It was really hard for us to choose. We were even talking about it even right before the show started, locking in these races, even the honorable mentions. There was just a lot that went on from, and, you know, we saw, it's kind of cool that we showed Teagan and then Anton at the bookends of this ordeal right here because they were really similar races. Both of them were exciting. The announcers were getting excited, just in completely different spectrums on, you know, the sport. But both made it into our show, so it's really cool to see.
Like you said, swimming is you know, there's age group all the way up to these professionals, and we got to make sure that we cover them all. So it's cool to see all those different races and see that somebody like Teagan can race the same way as the world champion. Yeah,
I mean, really similar race strategy. First 100, she was smooth, kind of built into the third 50, and then just laid down the hammer on the last 50.
Absolutely.
So you never know. We're going to keep an eye on Teagan. Maybe she'll be up there going in the 220 low range someday. But thanks for joining us here. It was really fun going through these races that we saw this summer. We've got more racing to come on FloSwimming, and I'm sure we'll be sitting here again before you know it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys can think of any other races that you'd like to see that we had live on FloSwimming this past summer, let us know. We'd be happy to break it down, even just throw it up by itself, and we can do an in-depth dive at one of these races. So let us know. And like Kyle said, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, see ya.
Peace.